Welcome to another update from Elixir's journey around the world. You've joined us at a very exciting time as we've recently arrived in French Polynesia after spending 23 days sailing across the Pacific from Mexico. We spent the last month exploring the incredible islands of the Marquesas. These islands are like something from another world, and it all felt a bit like a dream after spending so long on the open ocean. It felt so good to go ashore and to finally stretch our legs again. Marquesans are very welcoming and hospitable people, and they often made sure that we left with as much fresh fruit as we could carry. After visiting 4 different islands, we set sail again, this time for the next archipelago of the Tuamotus, 450 miles to the south. And compared to the jagged volcanic ridges of the Marquesas, the Tuamotus would bring something completely different. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Join our Patreon to become part of this journey. We're almost halfway through our circumnavigation with the entire South Pacific ahead of us. I can't wait to share it with you. We just left the island of Nukuhiva, which means we're leaving the Marquesas to go to the Tuamotus, which is the next group of islands. It's 450 miles to the south, or like a little to the southwest. The wind looks good, it's like on the beam, so we're gonna be reaching. Should take 3 to 4 days, I guess, depending on wind and current. It's a really nice day. The sea's pretty flat, we've got a nice breeze, and it's Nick's first sail on Elixir.
We got the sails up and just cruising. Beautiful day to go sailing. Took the drone out and saw some manta rays. Looking forward to a good trip.
So it's really important that we do all our preparations before we start sailing. The sails are up, everything's clean and tidy, and most importantly, I've got Gatorade in my Guy Harvey insulated flask.
We just landed a fish. Well, not landed, but hooked a fish. Yeah.
If you could do it while you're helming to furl in the head sail,
I can give it a go.
you could probably do it if you just flap it.
Just let it flap.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a beautiful fish.
Hit into the cockpit.
Oh, it snapped. We got him.
Nice.
Hell.
Alright, now
Can you close my cabin window, please, Chloe? Thank you. Hey, good work, mate. Hell, how do you feel?
yeah, great. You're tuna now.
It's huge, bro. Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, no.
Look at that guy.
Do you like tuna?
Yeah, we're eating tuna for a while. I think should fit us for the rest of the passage.
There's no way we're going to be able to eat all of it, so I'm just going to straight away start salting it and drying it out so we can preserve it a bit longer than a few days, so none of it goes to waste. Where we're going seems like pretty remote, so I think it's a good idea to stock up. This is my favorite size banana.
Because it reminds him of his...
Peel of this. Wins the competition for the smallest banana.
The world's tiniest banana. Oh, it's so cute.
French Polynesia is made up of 121 islands spread out over an area roughly the size of Europe. As a result, these multi-day passages are common when sailing between island groups. We hoped that the 450-mile passage from the Marquesas to the Tuamotus would take around 4 days. By this point, we were very accustomed to life underway, and 4 days at sea didn't seem like a big deal at all. It didn't take long to settle back into the routine of watch-keeping, cooking, reading, and making the most of siestas whenever you can get them.
How are you feeling about tuna now?
It's still good. I guess we'll check back in a day or two when we still have a lot to go. 1/6.
Maybe 1/8.
Oh my god. We've got some work to do. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, honestly. That's a lot of tuna. Smooth sailing so far. The swell's been pretty good. I think we've averaged like 7 knots for the last 20 something hours, so pretty good, but we're looking at that storm in front of us. Hoping it doesn't rain tonight, but we'll see.
We just passed the halfway point. First half was really nice, really chilled, and then at some point this morning, the wind picked up, the swell picked up, and it started raining, and it looks like we're back to some strong trade winds. So yeah, got a lot of water on the deck and the wind's like a little bit ahead of the beam, so it's pretty wet.
We've got 2 reefs in the main, 2 fells in the Genoa, so hopefully that's going to keep us stable for now. And really hoping it clears because it's been a very wet watch for me.
We are rolling. It's like we're on a roller coaster right now.
How's today been?
Squall after squall. It's been pretty rough, really rolly. The wind is pretty inconsistent. It dies down and then it gets really strong, and then that mixed with the swell, it's just been a bit of a rough day today. We're getting there. Life's just taking care of us.
We had a few days of nice calm conditions, sailing along under full sail when we left the Marquesas. That's finished now, and this morning we had a strong wind, maybe like 25 knots, and a few rain squalls come in. Yeah, the sea's picked up a lot. There's a lot of water on the deck. It's pretty wet out here in the cockpit. We've got 2 reefs in the main, 3 reefs in the Genoa. Elixir's moving around a lot, but we're still making progress in the right direction, and a little bit less than 200 miles left to go to the Tuamotus.
Drinking water is so hard when the sea is rough. Gotta stay hydrated.
It's big weather, so we're going to have Elixir's family favourite stormy meal, which is instant noodles with a twist. So I've got some onions, garlic, carrots, green beans, all sauteing in there. As you can see, pretty chaotic out there. Trying to keep it as ordered as possible in the kitchen whilst everything's flying around. We've got the oven swinging on its gimbal, and yeah, this is like the easiest go-to meal that doesn't taste too bad and gives Max superpowers as well. This is going to be an absolute mood maker. Now for the interesting bit, I'm going to serve these noodles up. It looks so good. Here we go.
Oh, thank you very much. My favourite.
It's good. It's just turning to dusk and we are completely surrounded by squalls. So I think it's going to be a wet night. How are you feeling, Nick?
Ready to get wet.
I've got like 10 minutes left of watch and my stuff is dry and I really don't want to get wet. So windy. Henry's doing his job well. That compass light is blasting out red goodness. The boat's good, it's just us who have to worry.
3 days of eating tuna for every meal, we finally got to the end of the fish, apart from the half of it that we set aside to salt in the rigging, and our last meal is tuna nuggets with ketchup. What do you think?
They're pretty good, actually.
I'm expecting
but you've been eating more tuna than I have, so.
I'm expecting Nick to just like chunder tuna at this point. He's like full to here with tuna. Max, you seem to have a bigger capacity for eating tuna. Yeah. Max, what's happened?
Well, I think it's fair that the wind vane lines have chafed after I haven't changed them since the UK. Like, it's pretty impressive that they lasted this long. Yeah, so we lost the control line for the wind vane, which means until I can put a new one in, the boat needs to be still for that. We've just got a hand steer. But it's alright because we can see the island anyway and we're going to be there tonight. So yeah, we made it. It's almost midnight and we've just arrived at the atoll, and I'm not going to try and get in at night time because it's not the sort of place where you try and arrive at night time. there's a difficult channel to enter, and there's a ton of submerged rocks and coral, so we've hove to just outside the entrance, which is basically where you like use the head sail and the mainsail against each other to park the boat and it stays still. And we're just going to stay like this for the rest of the night, and then when the sun comes up in the morning we'll start sailing back towards the island and arrive in daylight, which I think is way more sensible because it's just not the sort of place where you want to arrive in the middle of the night. So yeah, that's the plan.
It's first light, we've been hove to all night, and we can just see the silhouette of the atoll now. We're a lot closer. We drifted like 5 miles whilst we were hove to, so we're sailing back and we're just waiting for it to lighten up so we can fully see the entrance of the atoll.
So we're just pulling into our first atoll in the Tuamotus. We've been waiting around since 10 PM last night. It's about 6 AM now, so like 8 hours we've just been hove to outside. But it's light now, so we're going to try and enter this narrow little pass that goes into the atoll. Hopefully there won't be too much current. It's an atoll which is like a fringe of reef, and inside it's kind of uncharted, so there's lots of bits of coral, like coral bommies, which are just big pillars of coral which can be quite dangerous for navigation. So you really need to have someone like at least up on the front of the boat looking so you don't hit any, and yeah, it's just not really a good idea to enter at night time, I don't think. Also, you need an incoming tide or slack water, which we're not really sure, but we think that's now, so hopefully we're right.
It's really easy to see the outgoing tide, all the waters rushing towards us through the channel that we're trying to enter now.
The Tuamotus are the largest chain of atolls in the world. Unlike the dramatic volcanic peaks of the Marquesas, these flat islands hardly rise above sea level at all. The reason for their unique shape is that they're significantly older than the Marquesas. The central peaks of the islands have completely eroded away, leaving only the barrier reef. The inside of the lagoon is mostly uncharted and scattered with hundreds of these coral bommies at perfect boat sinking height. As a result, moving around inside of the lagoon requires a careful lookout. Again, it felt like we'd arrived in another world. I couldn't believe the beauty of our surroundings.
Thor Heyerdahl is a Norwegian adventurer who was made famous because he successfully crossed the Pacific on like a reed raft from Peru to the Tuamotus, where we are now, called Kon-Tiki, and it's quite a famous adventure story. Anyway, where he made landfall is literally less than a mile away from where we're anchored, and there's a little plaque to honor his journey, I guess. We're gonna go over and check it out now. We've read a few of his books since we've been in the Marquesas, and he's quite an interesting guy, and it's cool to think that this is where he arrived after like a really long time of, I'm not sure how long, but I'm sure it was many days.
200 days.
200 days.
But also, we got a myth bust because that guy was wrong. His evidence for the migration of people from Peru to French Polynesia was really compelling, but since ethnographic studies have shown that actually people came from Asia, basically, and unfortunately DNA doesn't lie. So sorry Thor, great ideas, but you were wrong.
I haven't read any of his books, but I'm pretty excited to see where he landed. It's pretty crazy to just set out on a raft with an unknown amount of time across the Pacific Ocean. It takes a lot of guts, so yeah, I'm pretty stoked to see where he made landfall.
The reason why Thor Heyerdahl set sail from Peru in 1947 on a raft made out of balsa is that he wanted to prove that ancient people were capable of making long sea voyages, and Polynesia could have been settled from the east to the west by South American people as opposed from the west to the east by Eastern Asian people. After 4,300 miles, the waterlogged raft finally broke apart on this reef. The crew spent several days on this little island until they were spotted and rescued by local fishermen.
So I'm right here in the very hammock that Thor Heyerdahl and his crew slept in when they arrived here on this little islet in the Tuamotus archipelago. And the one thing I'll tell you is that this bed absolutely stinks of bird shit. Night night.
Should have worn shoes.
Yeah. The islands in the Tuamotus rise barely a few meters above sea level. In the South Pacific, these small islands are referred to as motus. They are essentially just sandbars built upon coral reefs, made up mainly of crushed shells and coral. Apart from hermit crabs and coconut trees, there's not much to see ashore. However, we are about to find out that the vast majority of life in the Tuamotus is found underwater. The water clarity inside the atoll was like nothing I've ever seen before, and there's life everywhere you look. It was definitely a long way from the freezing cold North Atlantic waters back home. I just couldn't believe how beautiful it was down there. I wanted to stay down there all day, and if only that was possible.
Chloe, what are we about to go and do?
We're about to try scuba diving for the first time. Max and I have only ever free dived, so this is quite exciting. Luckily our good friend Brian.
My name's Brian.
Yeah, you may remember him from such YouTube channels as SV Delos, has kindly offered us a little lesson. So we're going to go get underwater.
So when would you use the red button then? Would you only inflate the...
You'd use the red button to maintain neutral buoyancy.
Okay.
So when you get in the water, we're going to make you guys heavier than normal because you're new divers, and so you're not going to have the control of your lungs. You're going to be a little bit heavy and you're going to sink, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put an air in to counterbalance that, and then we're going to let it out until we find the point where you're neutrally buoyant and you just float there. So then there's these little pull things that you pull on, and then it'll, if you're like that, and there's also another one right here. And so what we're going to be working on today is we're going to show how to put the gear on, and then we're going to do buddy check. So you guys are going to be dive buddies, and what you're going to do is you're going to check each other's gear. Don't exhale.
Don't exhale.
No, exhale. Don't inhale.
Don't inhale.
Don't inhale.
Just blow out as soon as you
blow
put it
out
in
as
your
soon as
mouth.
you put it in, and then breathe like normal. Yeah.
Okay.
Swim out to you.
Yeah. Swim out after we go under.
Yeah, yeah. How was your dive?
Yeah, it's good. I think we might need to get some dive kit on board Elixir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just found a new hobby, I think.
An expensive new hobby.
Yeah.
Very gear-intensive new hobby.
Oh, nice sandcastle.
Oh my god, it's unreal.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's unreal.
It's
Did
like
you
a different world.
See any cool fish? Or-
Yeah, we saw a baby shark.
Really? Wow.
It was kind of like, it wasn't.
It was a
shark.
remora.
Oh, a what?
It's like one of the suction, but
that go
on the
onto
top
the
of its
other
head
fish,
is a
yeah.
suction
Oh.
cup.
Thanks.
We saw 2 grouper,
Oh, nice.
big grouper,
Yeah.
good-sized grouper. We went down to a coral bommy and probably about 20 feet.
Yeah.
They did really
It was a
good.
bit chilly.
Passed all the drills.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was
How did
such
it
a
go
cool
with the clearing
experience.
of the...
It felt like we were living some kind of Pacific dream. This is one of the things that I love about sailing. You can literally bring your home to some of the remotest parts of the world and just live there. We really were living an off-grid lifestyle. I had no idea when we'd next be able to visit a shop, but it was pretty obvious that it was going to be a while. There are very few distractions when you're on an isolated island in the Pacific, and it was very easy to feel present and connected to the nature all around us. The whole experience was made even more special by the fact that we were surrounded by all of our friends. And after each day of literally playing around in the sea, we'd meet up on the tiny motu and watch the sunset together.
Oh, I dropped it. It's a bit difficult with corals.
Whoa. I didn't mean to scare you.
Hiya. Hello. How was the coconut? Does it taste nice?
Yes, it's delicious.
Turn into a crab if you do that.
It's been a while. What just happened?
We had to row.
The shipping broke up. We ran into a bommy. the shear pin broke on the propeller for the outboard engine, and as we were rowing, the paddle snapped. Oops. Oh yeah. And Nick saved the end so we can repair the oar.
After 5 days in the anchorage, we decided to move to an even more remote location in the north of the lagoon.
So we've just gone to move anchorages in Aurora from one anchorage to the northern anchorage. Max went to turn the starter motor and the engine won't start.
There's some sort of electrical problem because the starter motor isn't getting enough power to start the engine basically, so we've just got to troubleshoot, and the battery's fully charged, so we know that that's not the problem. Yeah, and we just need to figure out what's going on. Hopefully we won't need to take the starter motor off, but we'll see.
So I'm unscrewing this grounded bolt here. I'm going to try to clean these connections off, see if that helps fix the problem.
I do have a spare starter motor.
Hopefully we don't have to install a fully new starter motor. And now we're putting everything back together. So yeah, hopefully the engine works once we get everything put back. Hell yeah. How are you doing?
I feel like we handled that really well actually. That's good. That's good. That's good to know. It's always nice to play. It's always a horrible feeling when you go to turn the key and the engine doesn't start, but we've had a bit of an ongoing issue with the connections to the starter motor on Elixir, and obviously if the starter motor doesn't get electrical power, if it's not grounding right, then it's not going to turn the engine over. But we've gone through the grounding cable from the engine all the way back to the boundary, cleaned up every terminal, and it seems to have started alright this time. We're going to move to the next spot and have a second look at it when we arrive.
Thanks again for watching another update from our voyage around the world. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you could just engage with this video, like, comment, share, send it to one of your mates, I'd be very grateful. If you're enjoying the Elixir content and want to see more, then sign up to the Patreon. That's also the first place where I'm going to post any crewing opportunities on board Elixir. We also have t-shirts and tote bags on our online store. And yeah, thanks again for watching another one of these videos. I will see you next time.